Boo. You guys want to hear a spooky, scary story?
Yeah!
I don't think that's a good idea, guys.
Man, shut your faggot ass up, boy!
Okay, you guys asked for it. There was once a man known as Tajiri. Tajiri had an abundance of wealth. I'm talking Scrooge McDuck kind of money. You name it. Cars, houses, you could buy it all. I'm talking 20 Elons, 15 Bezos, and about 45 Bill Gates. But then one day, all his money disappeared.
Really, bro? What's the scary part?
Because he had no choice and had to apply for a job! A job! Employment! A 9 to 5! I remember my first job like it was yesterday. 'Twas the winter of 2021. I had just started year 13 back in September, and a month later was my 18th birthday. The second I turned 18, life felt different. I have entered adulthood, manhood, a new chapter. I am officially a grown man. And try guess the first thing my mum said to me after reaching this milestone. It wasn't exactly like that, but that's what it felt like. But to be honest, she was right. I have never worked a day in my life. There are kids out there 15, 16 with jobs, some even making 5 to 6, 7 figures. And I've been relying on my parents all my life. It was time for a change. I don't know what other people's experiences were like, but the job market in 2021 compared to now was practically paradise for me. Cause deep it, I only applied to one job with no experience and they got back to me in less than a week. No word of a lie, I went on Indeed, I wrote retail assistant, I saw KFC, applied, and now I'm getting an interview. Mind you, I had no clue you were supposed to apply for multiple jobs. After applying, I just sat and waited. The plot armor was insane. But then I'm thinking to myself, I've never been in an interview. My mum was giving me questions that might pop up, but I'm not gonna lie, it was going through one ear and out the next. Me? I'm a vibes guy. I'm a pretty sociable guy when I need to be, so I'm not going stress, I'm going wing it. It's the day of the interview. I get myself an Uber and for some reason my brother decides to tag along. We walk inside. I explain to an employee I'm here for an interview and tells me to sit down. Time passes by and the manager is still not here. One of the workers offers me some chicken while I wait. Who on earth is going to decline that? I'm still there waiting and nothing. I kid you not, it was about an hour and a half until he actually arrived. Finally, it's the moment I've been waiting for, the interview. And my brain is blank. I did not prepare for this at all. How on earth am I going to respond to these questions? I'm cooked. All of a sudden, a whole 180 took place. Bossman said to me, sorry for being late, brother. Because I took time, I'm just going to give you the job anyway. Hey! I looked at my brother, he looked back at me, and I got gassed. Man said I skipped the interview stage, got to signing the paperwork, and I'm starting this weekend for an induction. Aura! Swag! And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't chase, you attract. I was blessed. On the first day of work, I wasn't even on any of the food duties. They put me on drive-through, which I can tell you for free is one of the easiest roles you can get in the fast food industry. This is simply because you don't prep any of the food. All you gotta do is place the order on the machine, fill up the drinks, slap in the napkins, forks, spoons, hand it over, you're done. I was having the time of my life, and since you wear a headset, I just be busting convo with the customers, and I'd be so energetic I tend to forget the headset is still on. So there'll be times I just spontaneously burst into song, rap, or just start saying utter gibberish. And I can't lie, some days I just be trolling, make the job a little more fun. I'm just lucky I had chill customers because it would have went left if I had a Karen or something. Oh, and another thing I did was abuse the royalties I had working at KFC, which was the free food. The KFC I worked at had a system though, where you can only eat a certain price of food, for example like £10 worth of food, but you put a black man in front of chicken, there's no controlling him. I'm eating family buckets light, hoovering up any food I gaze upon. There were even days mid-shift I'm having a drink of choice. And speaking of drinks, one of the greatest things I loved having was a Crush'em. But my ones were different because I mixed every flavour, drowned in all the syrup options in a large Pepsi cup daily. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Yo, relax, I didn't get fired. Even after all that, yes, I'm as surprised as you are, but no, I had to relocate. You see, the KFC I was working at was borderline on the outskirts of my city. I literally had to take 2 buses just to get there. Fortunately enough, there happened to be a KFC nearby. Walking distance, I'm talking 15 minutes tops. This KFC was a lot more lenient and the atmosphere was a lot different from the previous one. An example being there were a lot of people my age, a few aunties and uncles here and there, but majority youth. So it made me feel more at home, made me feel welcome. But the problem was, it was a lot busier. Because it was right opposite a secondary school. 3 p.m. to 5 p.m, hooligans barging into the place as if it was something out of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It was chaos. And this one had no drive-through. So I was working front of house. I was taking orders, sometimes on fries duties, packing delivery orders, clearing up tables and mopping up the floors simultaneously. I'm terrible at multitasking. Why me? It was so hard to keep up, but I need the money. But one thing they had me do that still traumatizes me to this day was the washing. When I say washing, it's not cups, plates and spoons. No. I'm talking full on filter tanks. I didn't even know what. I'm just gonna slap the pictures in because I don't know what these things are called, but I had to wash this by myself solo. Are you mad? So many things happened while I was there, but I want to keep things short, otherwise I'll just be yapping forever. But there was an event I must speak on. The day my manager was about to scrap with a customer. We had a new guy alongside us, and he had a tendency of messing up orders. So a male Karen approaches the scene to complain, which is fair, but there was also another customer who had an Uber Eats order and incorrectly complaining. For me, that's already too many problems at once. Me and my team tried to fix their orders, but they're impatient and angry. My manager comes to try calm down the situation, but they're still not listening. Out of nowhere, the male Karen punches the barrier separating the customer and the worker, which we had since COVID was still prominent, and it almost hit the manager in the face. But then the manager punches it back at him. The place erupts. People had to hold the guy back, and the manager stood his ground chatting back like it was a scene from Blue Story. But it was from India, so it sounded more like,
how can you stop? How can you stop?
Eventually, the guy got kicked out, and everyone was a lot more calm. A few months later, I decided to hang up the gloves. Not because of what happened, I don't really care about that. I was getting paid £6.65 per hour. That's gotta be slavery at this point. Not even minimum wage, that's 1900 salary. I had to go. But yeah, that was my introduction to the working world, eh?